12th day of March is now time for us to get you informed once again. Thank you for choosing KUTV's news at 9. Let's begin with the highlights. Alego Usonga Member of Parliament Samuel Atandi elected National Assembly Budget Committee chairperson. Ruto's tour in Nairobi enters day 3 as he drums up support for the Social Health Authority, allocating 250 million shillings for the construction of a Dagoretti hospital. With the Ruto-Raila pact sparking widespread debates tonight, we take a look at what this could potentially mean for Kenya's politics in the upcoming elections. Kenyans living along lowland areas urged to move to higher grounds as March rains commence.
This is KUTV Primetime News with Yvonne Kemuma.
On the sign language interpretation, we have Margaret Migwi engaged with us on X at KUTV_Kenya, at Kemuma_Monari. We are streaming live on YouTube at KUTV News Kenya. Let's begin. Alego Usonga Member of Parliament Samuel Atandi is now the new chairperson of the Budget and Appropriations Committee of the National Assembly following the removal of Ndindi Nyoro in what has been interpreted as a move to axe out former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua allies from key positions in government. The decisive election also saw Dr. Robert Pukose take up as the Budget Committee Deputy.
This committee, the Budget and Appropriations Committee, does not work in isolation. We do not do the budget in isolation. This committee works with the departmental committees. Departmental committees also interact with the executive when they're working on their estimates, and you know that, Chair.
We want to promise that we are going to work with everybody. We are going to work with all members of Parliament to ensure that this committee is a committee that is admired by the entire Parliament. So I think that's the understanding that we need to give.
Now, President William Ruto continues his efforts to defend the Social Health Authority, saying that it is for every Kenyan. The president spoke on the third day of his tour in Nairobi today while touring the Dagoretti area to witness the construction of the Mutuini Market in Dagoretti and opening as an ICT center and other projects.
On the third day of his development tour in Nairobi County, President William Ruto stormed Dagoretti area, drumming up support for the Kenya Kwanza development agenda, more so on the workability and implementation of the Social Health Authority SHA in the country, insisting that program is meant for every Kenyan.
Kisha kila mmoja wetu akienda hospitali atibiwe na aende nyumbani bila ya kuulizwa pesa yoyote, serikali isimamie. So hiyo ni number 1. Mheshimiwa Gavana wenu, mjumbe wenu wa county na mjumbe wetu bwana KJ waliniambia nipitie hapa, na mimi nataka nishukuru hawa CHPs kwa sababu wanafanya kazi mzuri, wanatusaidia kuhakikisha kwamba kuna muuguzi katika kila kijiji, ndio tuanze mambo ya matibabu pale mashinani.
His visit yet again came with a pack of promises this time round, promising to allocate 250 million Kenyan shillings for the construction of a hospital in the Dagoretti as he expected the ongoing construction of Mutuini Market.
Mimi nataka nishukuru county government ya Nairobi, huyu Sakaja pamoja na MCA wenu wa hapa na wale wote wamepangana ndio tuwe na soko hii. Na mimi vile niliwahakikishia watu wa Nairobi, tayari soko 10 serikali ya Kenya inajenga, zingine 10 inajengwa na county government ya Nairobi. Na ni kwa sababu tunataka hapa Nairobi kila mtu awe anafanya biashara mahali kuna maji, mahali kuna stima na mahali biashara imelindwa sawasawa, iko na storage, iko na cold room, ndio dunia hii iweze kusonga mbele, kila mtu wawe na biashara yake.
Hai! Dagoretti hai! Hamjambo akina mama? Akina vijana vipi? Nataka nijue kama watu wa Motoine wamemkaribisha rais hapa Motoine. Mheshimiwa Rais, desturi ya Nairobi ni kwamba siasa ya Nairobi hupangwa hapa Motoine. Vile Motoine wanasema ndio Nairobi inasema. Na miaka yote Dagoretti tumekuwa ndani ya serikali.
President Ruto further promised to increase the number of teachers in Dagoretti as a move expected to greatly boost students' performance in the area.
Tumekubaliana ya kwamba leo mimi naenda hapa kwa masomo ya watu wa hapa Dagoretti. Masomo ni muhimu kwa watoto wote wa taifa letu la Kenya. Na ndio sababu tumeajiri walimu wapya 76,000 ambao watatusaidia kusomesha watoto wa Kenya wakiwemo watoto wa Nairobi. Na nimekubaliana na huyu KJ ya kwamba wakati tunasomesha watoto wa Kenya, lazima watoto wa Dagoretti wasome. Ni kweli ama si kweli?
Amejambo. Nipungie mkono kama unaniona. Nikisema harambee, sema kazi ni kazi. Harambee! Harambee! Sisi Mheshimiwa Rais tunashukuru kwa sababu umeshikanisha Kenya mzima. Moyaseo, Mariega, Idhinadi. Sisi tutaunga rais mkono ili aweze kufanyia Wakenya kazi. Sisi tunajua kuna mengine mnazungumuza mungependa serikali itekeleze. Mheshimiwa Rais atachunga hiyo maneno, kama ni SHA itaundwa mpaka iwe ya kufaidi wa Kenya. Asanteni Mheshimiwa Rais, asante.
While in the company of his allies and a section of ODM politicians, the head of state called for unity and avoidance of ethnic divisions. His sentiments being echoed by Deputy President Kithure Kindiki.
Tungetaka nchi yetu tuwe na uzalendo na tuwe na umoja, na sasa hivi ni wakati wa kujenga taifa letu na mshikamano wa jamii zote za Jamhuri ya Kenya ili tuwe taifa ambalo liko na nguvu.
As President Ruto continues with this development tour in Nairobi, while defending his recent alliance with Azimio leader Raila Odinga, the questions remains, will he fulfill the promises he had made, given there are still unfulfilled promises from the previous time? Helen Kiplagat, KUTV.
The newly formalized political pact between President William Ruto and ODM leader Raila Odinga is already reshaping Kenya's political landscape. President William Ruto has begun visiting Raila's strongholds in Nairobi, signaling a significant shift in alliances. But what does this political marriage mean for Kenya's politics and the upcoming elections? Our reporter Blue Smile Hassan delves into this development.
The political alignment between the ruling UDA party and Raila Odinga's ODM party has sparked ripples across the nation, raising political temperatures and sparking debates. The historical signing of the Memorandum of Understanding on 7th March 2025 at the KICC marks Raila Odinga's fourth entry into government via his famed handshakes. This move revitalized President Ruto's political influence, which had been waning due to internal power struggles following the ouster of former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua.
Mimi nawauliza kwa unyenyekevu. Madhara nawauliza kwa unyenyekevu. Tumekubaliana kama viongozi wa Kenya ya kwamba tuache ukabila, tuache chuki, tuache migawanyiko, tuache ubaguzi. Kenya ni moja na inatosha sisi wote kama wa Kenya.
Political analyst Brian Masjid provides insights into what this pact means for Kenya, especially as the country gears up for the 2027 election.
To begin with, my view on the Ruto-Raila pact, I think it is imperative for us to put this into historical context first, because this is not a new phenomena. This is something that has been happening over the past years. And this is one of the characteristics of the Kenyan politics. It is marred by politicians regrouping, political enemies becoming political friends.
Masjid also points out that Raila Odinga's decision to join the government has been perceived as a betrayal by some opposition members, further fracturing the coalition. He says that the alignment between the two can disorient the opposition, leaving leaders like Kalonzo Musyoka and Rigathi Gachagua scrambling for relevance.
We are also likely to see a fragmented opposition, because currently the opposition is split. They are trying to fish some members because some members have already left. We are trying to see some realignments because somebody who was part of the government is now not part of the government, is joining opposition. Somebody who was part of the opposition is now joining the government.
Critics argue that Raila's entry into government could threaten the influence of Western Kenya political leaders such as Musalia Mudavadi and Moses Wetangula.
Talking about Mudavadi and Wetangula bringing 40% of the votes from that region, yeah, it was kind of an agreement. So the value they bring to the party and the coalition. Remember that Raila also has a following in Western. Mudavadi has a following in Western. Weta also has a following in Western. If you look at the pact that they had in Kenya Kwanza, I think Raila being part of the government, if at all they will proceed up to elections, then the Western region will be affected. Weta will be affected.
Meanwhile, ODM Secretary General Edwin Sifuna is forced to take a humble pie after years of harsh opposition.
In ODM, were giving some kind of opposition speeches on the president. But that was because their party leader, Raila, had not given them a direction yet. And I think Sifuna was one of the people who was so much embarrassed during the signing of this pact, because
the Ruto-Raila pact is undoubtedly shaping Kenya's political future, creating new alliances while destabilizing existing power structures. President Ruto has wasted no time capitalizing on the alliance, visiting Raila's strongholds in Nairobi as part of his strategy to secure his re-election in 2027. Blue Smile Hassan, KUTV.
Now, still on that beat, the recent political truce between President William Ruto and ODM leader Raila Odinga has evoked division among political leaders across the country, some expressing their support, while others sharply criticize the union. Embu Senator Alexander Munyi has expressed his support for the political truce, describing it as crucial for fostering national unity and unlocking development.
Wiki jana kulikuwa na mipangilio ya rais wa Kenya ambaye ni William Ruto, akiwa ndiye anaongoza Kenya Kwanza, na pia Azimio wakiwa wanaungana pamoja. Mimi nikiwa senator wa Embu County, ningeomba sisi tuungane pamoja, tuwe kama hiyo ndio dawa ya kuleta sisi pamoja kaunti ya 47 ndio tuweze kupata maendeleo.
Juzi kulikuwa na mpango, na mimi nimeona serikali imechukua Raila ikaweka ndani. Simeweka Raila ndani. Mimi nataka kuambia ukweli. Ukiwa kwa hii serikali ndani, either unaisupport ama uisupport. Ni kama ile relationship huyu Samido aliiba akasema ni toxic love.
Away from politics, Agriculture Cabinet Secretary Mutahi Kagwe has affirmed that there is no plan to lift the months-long ban on the export of raw macadamia nuts from the country. Kagwe revealed that the country earns more from exporting processed macadamia, maintaining that the ban will remain imposed to ensure farmers get competitive prices for their macadamia produce while providing better opportunities.
Cabinet Secretary for Agriculture, Livestock and Development Mutahi Kagwe was today on a hot seat before the Senate to respond to questions raised by Kirinyaga Senator James Murangu on the current position of the government on the export of raw macadamia nut in shell from the country.
Waziri, inakuaje mkulima wa mahindi asurutishwe na serikali kuuza unga, lazima asage mahindi? Bwana Waziri, inakuaje mkulima kahawa anapopeleka kahawa katika soko la kahawa, yeye haambiwi aende afanye roasting ama aende kupika ile kahawa iende kama imepikwa? Waziri, tuna haja na ngozi. Mpaka saa hii wafugaji utapata ya kwamba ukienda bandari ya Lamu bado wanaruhusiwa kuuza ng'ombe wakiwa hai, na bado tunahitaji ngozi. Ikawa mkulima makandamia, mkulima wa korosho, mkulima wa mbigza na wapareto, hawa ndo walitongewa sheria hususan ya kuwafinya.
The country earns a lot more by exporting processed macadamia nuts than exporting in-shell, raw and processed macadamia. So in terms of the plans we have, whether we have got any plans to lift the ban on the export of raw macadamia nuts, to ensure that farmers get competitive prices for their produce from local processors and licensing exporters. Obviously, Mr. Speaker, it is in the ministry's interest that macadamia farmers are kept happy.
Kenya imposed the ban in November 2024 to deal with the problem of harvesting immature nuts and was extended by CS Kagwe on February 28 this year. The Association of Macadamia Farmers of Kenya have since complained of stalled macadamia produce worth over 1.8 billion shillings in stores and containers, even as their export licenses to China market are set to expire in July this year. Still responding to Senate questions was Cabinet Secretary for Water, Sanitation and Irrigation Eric Muga. His failure to respond to questions raised by Migori Senator Eddie Okech to provide a list of landowners who granted wayleave for the Lower Kuja Irrigation Development Scheme in Nyatike Sub-County and indicate the respective amount due to each compensation got the House questioning the CS seriousness.
The question that came to the ministry did not capture the list, Honorable Senator. But, Honorable Speaker, the question that came to the ministry is the question number 8 by Senator Eddie Okech. I read, MP on status of compensation of landowners who granted wayleave for the Lower Kuja Irrigation Development Project.
There is no list provided to this House of individuals who are called PAPs on this project, Mr. Speaker. And I think that, Mr. Speaker, my only conclusion can be that perhaps the CS is hiding from this House the fact that there are people who are displaced. That's what you're saying. That actually he just read the covering letter, he did not read the annex that contains the questions, then he went ahead to answer questions based on the covering letter. Mr. Speaker, this is a demonstration of how casually this minister and this ministry treats this House.
Look at the response you have supplied to this House, Honorable CS, that you have consultants doing something in 2012. In 2012, telling you these are the parcels of land that are affected, these are the owners of the land, and this is the amount of money that is required to be paid. You send another consultant years later to do the exact same thing, Honorable Speaker. And then a third exercise to do the same thing. And when he asks the Senator for Migori, why is it taking so long? We are being told there is a verification process, the very same thing that was done in 2012.
Nevertheless, CS Muga is expected to appear before the Senate next week on Wednesday to give his submissions. Anyango Sylvia, KUTV.
Now, with that report by Anyango Sylvia from Senate, we will take our first break here on KUTV News at 9. Engage with us on X at KUTV_Kenya, at Kemuma_Monari. See you on the other side.
Access to knowledge, solution to unanswered questions.
Guidelines to pursuing your rights and repossessing your property, intellectual or material.
This and more only on Law Matters.
Hi, my name is Stella Tioi.
Jina langu naitwa Kemuma James.
This is Mandela Gaya.
Ugonjwa ulipokuja ulichukua siku 3 ukaniweka in coma. 20 wamezikwa, 2 ndio wako hai.
I don't even know how it feels to see.
I feel like I cannot express myself well the way somebody who can walk can actually express themselves.
Ilichukua muda mwingi mrefu tena mpana ili kuikubali kwamba mimi siwezi tembea tena.
I've come to actually accept myself.
Ukijaribu kumsimamisha mtu umwambie tafadhali nionyeshe njia,
They find it quite strange talking to you.
We should just make schools integrated,
Inclusive setups.
by providing the right facilities.
You are watching KUTV Primetime News with Yvonne.
Now on the sign language interpretation is Margaret Migwi will proceed. Now Cabinet Secretary for Health Dr. Deborah Baraza has assured Kenyans that the country's HIV response remains strong despite disruptions caused by US executive order seeking to halt foreign development assistance for 90 days. Speaking at a high-level consultative meeting with the government officials and stakeholders, Dr. Baraza emphasized the need for local funding solutions. Baraza urged county members to boost HIV program funding and called on Parliament to prioritize the health budget allocation. She further confirmed ongoing discussions with the US government to mitigate the impact of the order. Dr. Baraza additionally reaffirmed Kenya's commitment to sustaining HIV progress, urging unity and collective action to ensure long-term resilience. Now, the Kenya Red Cross has urged residents living along the Tana River and low-lying areas in Garissa County to move to higher grounds as the rainy season begins. The warning comes as the heavy rains have historically caused severe flooding, leading to displacements, destruction of property, and loss of lives.
Following the start of the March-long rain season, during a procession to mark 60 years of humanitarian service, Hassan Musa, head of the Kenya Red Cross Northeastern Region, urged residents to take necessary precautions following devastating floods last year in April that took away lives of livestock and at least 15 people at Kona Punda along the Garissa-Madogo stretch after the boat they were traveling in capsized.
Hakuna dalili kwamba kutokea mafuriko, lakini iwapo yatatokea mafuriko, tumeweza kujihami kwa kuweza kushirikiana na mashirika mengine ikiwemo county government and even national government na washikadau wengine, kwa sababu sisi Red Cross hatuwezi kufanya hii kazi pekee yetu. Kwa hiyo ile kitu tumeanza kufanya sasa hivi ni kuweza kuhamasisha wale watu ambao wanakaa karibu na kingo za mto waweze kuwa tayari kuweza kuondoka katika sehemu zile, lakini pia tusingoje mafuriko yatokee ndio tuweze kutoka. Wengi tunawaencourage sasa hivi watafute sehemu mbadala ili tusiwe kila mwaka tukiingia tunaenda kutoa watu hawa. Hilo ni jambo tumefanya.
Hassan Musa explained that the organization is aware of the region fare emergencies which range from floods, droughts and even insecurity, which the organization has responded to it in real time.
Kwa Northeast ukiangalia sana, mara nyingi tuna ukame, wakati mwingine tuna majanga kama ya security, wakati mwingine tuna mafuriko. Ni juzi tu tuliweza kupoteza watu hapa kwa sababu ya mafuriko. Kwa hiyo lengo letu kubwa kama shirika la Msalaba Mwekundu sio kurespond sana, niweza kuweza kujenga jamii waweze kuweza kurespond ili kuweza kuepuka madhara ambayo vingeweza kuwapata watu ama vifo ambavyo vingeweza kuwapata watu. Na hamasisha watu wengi waweze kuja kufanya first aid training, waweze kujipiga na pia waweze kujitokeza kwa wingi wakati tunawaita waweze kutusaidia katika jambo fulani.
While highlighting the importance of undergoing first aid training for use during emergency situations, Mr. Hassan Musa assured the public that the Kenya Red Cross is well prepared for emergencies, having pre-positioned boats and tractors for swift response.
Pia ukichunguza wakati tukifanya hii procession, uliona kwamba tulikuwa na boat katika ile procession na hata tractor. Hivi ni vyombo ambavyo tumeweza kuposition katika sehemu hii ya Garissa, Wajir na Mandera, ili ikiwa itatokea bahati mbaya kwamba mafuriko yametokea, basi tuna vifaa ambavyo tunaweza kwenda kuokoa jamii bila wasiwasi wowote.
The procession, which started at the Tana River Bridge and moved through Garissa town, concluded with a simulation exercise demonstrating emergency response techniques, with the residents commending the Kenya Red Cross for its unwavering commitment to disaster response and humanitarian efforts across the region. Theo Masharia for KUTV.
In a world where uncertainty rules and opportunities are scarce, it's time to break from the barrier and unlock your full potential.
We must live within our means. We cannot spend money that we don't have.
We will explore the fascinating world of investment, trade secrets, business strategies and entrepreneurship.
Sasa challenges ziko mingi sana. Parking ya mzigo imekuwa mbaya. Unaweka pesa yako inakataa kurudi.
Whether you're a seasoned investor or just starting out, what you covered with invaluable insights to help you succeed.
Now, this year we have seen a rebound in the economy, which is well above the global average of the 3%.
Join me, Anyango Sylvia, every Sunday and Monday on KUTV News at 9, and let's turn your dreams into reality.
You are watching KUTV Primetime News with Yvonne Kemuma.
Now, in a move to evaluate the progress of the competence-based curriculum CBC implementation, the Ministry of Education through the State Department of Basic Education held a dialogue at St. Faustina Kerugoya Girls High School in Kirinyaga County, seeking to address challenges and explore ways to enhance its effectiveness.
It's really a lot of traffic. We are talking of 1.3 million learners, and so many details that we are asking therein. So if you really have great challenges, I think it's important to tell us what is not working. Sometimes we work from our end, but we also need to hear from the interface of the school.
We are staffing not from what we produce ourselves, but what we get from that kit. And therefore, we have always given them the correct data on how many teachers we need in every county, every sub-county.
I have agreed that there is a need to do urgent retouring, and a serious one, so that we bring the teachers who are employed on board, so that they are able to continue with the CBC the way it is supposed to be.
Now in sports, Patrice Motsepe has been re-elected and opposed for a second term as president of the Confederation of Africa Football, CAF. The announcement was made during the CAF Extraordinary General Assembly in Cairo, where FIFA President Gianni Infantino was also present. was also present. Motsepe, who will serve for another 4-year term, emphasized improving national stadiums across Africa as his key priority. He revealed that in 2021, 36 countries lacked functioning stadiums, a number now reduced to 12, but still a challenge in his vision to enhance African football infrastructure. Now, PSG goalkeeper Gianluigi Donnarumma was the hero of the match as PSG knocked out Liverpool out of the UEFA Champions League at Anfield. PSG forward Ousmane Dembele scored in the 12th minute, cancelling out Liverpool's victory in the first leg at Parc des Princes, advancing PSG to quarter-finals. In other matches staged yesterday, Bayern Munich defeated Bayer Leverkusen 2-0, securing a spot in the UEFA quarter-finals. Well, many thanks for choosing KUTV News at 9 to get you informed. It's been a pleasure having you on board. My name is Yvonne Kemuma. On the sign language interpretation was Margaret Migwi, and on behalf of the rest of the team responsible for this particular production, have a blessed night. Keep it KUTV.
that together in an index that tells us a bit about the public sectors of each of these countries.
Now, Mr. Mahmoud, you know, there's report, and this might be older, but your commission, the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission of Kenya, has at some point estimated that the country loses an upward of 608 billion Kenya shillings, which is about nearly $5 billion to corruption. That's about 7.8 of the country's GDP. First, how can you explain to people how this money is lost? When we talk about this money gets lost every year.
Oh, thank you for having us once again. First, I think let's understand that corruption is not an African problem. It is a global issue. And that is why you have the United Nations Convention Against Corruption. So many times we also do not agree with the surveys that are conducted.